salute you. So welcome to the Get Busy Livin podcast, and I'm Dr. Scott from Six Sense Acupuncture and the Healthy Habits Club, and we've got an awesome guest this morning, and that is Sarah Davis. What does the OTBP stand for?
Off the beaten path.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So yeah, we thank you so much, Sarah, for coming on and giving us your time. We appreciate we hope to hear some gold nuggets today from you. I'm sure we will. So I appreciate that. We all do. We all appreciate that you've taken time out to give us this information. So thanks so much, Sarah, for coming on.
Sure. No, thanks for inviting me. I'm excited.
Me too. So I'll start off with the usual questions. So tell us, Sarah, what gets you out of bed every morning?
Oh, goodness. Well, usually it's the 17-year-old stomping up and down the stairs to go to school. But what truly gets me out of bed is seeing all of the things that I'm building and wanting to see them completely built. So I'm in school to get my doctorate in organizational leadership. So I'm actually starting my dissertation process right now. And I'm also building my own consulting company. I've been doing it on the side for years and years, but this is the first time I've done it as my full-fledged career path. And that's exciting and scary and all those things, but it does get me out of bed because the scary part means you might fail someday. So you got to get up and, hustle and make sure it doesn't happen. Right.
Exactly right. So you obviously have a degree and a master's.
Yeah.
You don't get a PhD without those two skills. So what'd you do those in? What'd you do your degree in?
Sure. So my bachelor's degree is a triple major at psychology, sociology, and anthropology. But I never went into that. I knew I wanted to work with humans, but I never actually fully went into psychology or social work. I went into the nonprofit world. And then a little bit later, so give or take about 8 years ago now, I went back and got my master's degree in management and leadership. And that's when I truly started realizing I want to help companies build that infrastructure, build that strategy to help them succeed, because I kept seeing all those things that were causing companies to be held back and not to grow the way they wanted to. So.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what was I going to say? So when did you go to college, obviously, and you got your degree there? Is that right?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I went to, I was born and raised in Michigan, and I went to a college in Michigan. So I don't know how it works in every country, but here colleges and universities are a little different. Colleges are usually smaller. And so this was a smaller college, and it's Olivet College, yay, Olivet. And now they are the University of Olivet. That's how long ago I went. They were Olivet College when I went, and now they've become bigger and added things. So they are the University of Olivet. They're growing. And then I got my master's degree at Western Governors University. It is, they do have in-person things, but they're a mainly online university. So I got my master's degree in an online forum, which was really cool. And it gave me a lot of opportunity to engage with people all over the country. So a different atmosphere than I was used to in my first degree, for sure. So, yeah.
So what got you into that? What got you into, psychology and social?
Well, I will be honest. Yes, psychology, sociology, and anthropology, all the studies of humans, right? And so basically I did it to make everyone in my family mad. Everybody in my family wanted me to be a teacher. Everybody, like, I have so many teachers in my family and so many principals, in my family, and they're all like, go into teaching. It's a great career path. It's steady. It's solid. And I'm like, I'm doing nothing to do with teaching. I'm going against my family in every way, shape, or form. And so I was like, what would be something I could go into that means I could never teach? And here, a psychology degree, just a bachelor's, you don't get a teaching certificate with that. So my whole family was like, so it made it all worth it. And some of them are probably watching. They know this already. It's fine. So
Well, not probably now, but they will be.
They will
soon
be,
enough.
right. So
That's hilarious. So
yeah.
yeah, sometimes I get it. I understand that family can be challenging, and sometimes
Oh,
you make
sure.
mistakes.
But I did really like it. I like dealing, I shouldn't say I like dealing with humans because most of the time I don't. I like learning about humans, and I like to learn about the human condition and the why behind people do things. And part of that why is why I'm doing my dissertation, is because I want to know why people are complicit in unethical leadership transactions, right? So why do we as employees let unethical behavior happen? Why don't we stand up more? Why don't we call it out? And there's a lot of reasons for that, but I love understanding the why behind humans doing what they do. And so the psychology base really helped me start with that. So.
Fair enough. So you like what you like people just from a distance. That's what you say.
Exactly. That's why I like all this online stuff, right? You get to meet so many people and it's not in person. It's wonderful. So it's all good.
We've got some comments already.
Sure. What are the comments? Now I'm curious.
So Brittany Jones, she's on the bandwagon. She's beating the drums for us. So thanks very much, Brittany.
Yes.
She says, UTS, great to see you, Sarah.
Lovely.
Another lady, Yvette, she says, wow, brave move. And woman of Philadelphia, she says, love seeing you, Sarah.
Love that. And yes, I think some people think going against their family is a brave move, and that is true. But as much as my family was a little bit upset about it, nobody held it against me. It was fine. So yeah.
That's pretty funny. So so you went into to do your masters, and what made you go into that field? Your master's degree.
So my master's degree is kind of a lead into the doctorate because it was management and leadership, and now I'm doing organizational leadership. But I believe that the goodness in a company it starts from the top down. So if the leader of a company, the CEO, the VPs, if all of that are bad people doing bad things, having bad habits, whatever the bad thing is, that's a trickle down effect. And if they enhance their leadership and become better leaders, that's also a trickle down effect. And I want to make that change. I want to work with companies that want to make that change, that see that they have hardworking leaders that maybe don't quite know how to be leaders. And that's where I can come in to develop leadership programs and run some things to train them and to become a better leader. A lot of times people are just thrown into jobs, right? You get a promotion and now all of a sudden you're in a leadership position and you're like, I know how to do my job, but now I am responsible for 3 or 4 people. How do I do that? And there's really no businesses really have a good training program for this unless you're super huge, right? That you can have an IT department with a training department. But a lot of these small and mid-sized companies just don't have the ability to offer that training in-house. And that's where I come in. So,
yeah, there's a book written by Sun Tzu. You might have heard of it, the Art of War.
yes.
You might have heard of it. So he actually says that. He says is that if the message is from the general to subordinates, if the subordinates didn't follow the orders and they were clear and crystal, then it's the subordinates' fault, right? But
sure.
if the message is not clear, if it is not crystal, if it is not exact, you're not sending 2 different types of messages, you're sending just one straight message, then it is not crystal clear, then it is the general's fault. So yes. Exactly right. And I've seen this so many times in large companies where you're getting these conflicting messages and you're thinking, well, which one is it? Like, I don't understand what, and then you get in trouble later on down the track and you're thinking, well, hang on, you guys were sending this message out, and it's like, hang on.
Exactly. And what I do, There you go. And like you said, this idea has been around for a while, right? The Art of War, I don't even know what year it was written, but it was a hot minute ago. And so the idea of this is not new, but it is something
2,200 years.
right. That hot minute, 2,000 years, we're good. But what I'm hoping to bring to it is a little bit of fun, and a little bit of making these trainings and building leaders within companies not be something that, you're hitting them over the head with information, that you're actually providing them tools to take it in and apply it and actually become better leaders.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And training's important with that as well. Constantly trying to keep them stimulated as well.
And Brittany's way active over there. I'm looking at Brittany, just keep posting. She's over here being all active.
Yeah, I see that. Hang out with Sarah. Love seeing you, Sarah. Was it Goot?
That's my website. That's my website. Yeah, go off the beaten path or go otvp.com. That's my website. It's sliding along the bottom here with my coloring books if people need to find it. But yeah. So yeah.
The book's coming. Just wait.
Oh no, fine. All is good.
The book's coming. So okay, and so you learn about management and about
yes.
And basically legislation and the laws around
HR and
employment and
yes.
So I suspect you've seen a lot of because you've helped other companies as well with their hiring, but also firing. You've helped with both sides.
I have.
Of the plan.
Yes.
So that'd be very interesting because people don't hear about that very often. Unless they're involved in it themselves.
Unless they're involved in it. And then you don't want to be on the backside. But the hiring process is, I think, everybody kind of has an idea of what happens to get you hired, right? We've all been hired, went through an onboarding process, and we've all seen the good and the bad in those hiring processes. We've all started that job where you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. Where's the bathroom, right? Because nobody's told you a single thing. But then you have others where you walk in and you have this huge handbook and you have to read it by the end of the week and you're like, now what? But the firing process, I think a lot of people think it's on a whim, especially with a lot of what happened during COVID, where people had to do large cuts because of financial reasons. But taking like that out of it, where there's those big financial cuts that we have to take and fire people, the average person that gets fired, it's actually a longer conversation on the back end. And that's one thing that I can't explain on this call, but it's one of the things I want to do maybe a training on, but at least a webinar to explain how that works, because I think a lot of people take it personally, and it's a personal factor of your finances, you're getting let go, but there's a lot that happens into letting somebody go, and it's 98% of the time it's not on a whim. And I think that HR, a lot of people out there are going to be like, Sarah, it sucks, and it does, but it's not HR's fault. They're just the bad guy, and they're the one that has to do the letting go. So that's something I do want to talk about at some point and do that webinar on how that all works.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
So tell us about how you've implemented, policies or new procedures for companies. Give us an example.
Oh, sure. Well, a lot of times I work with startups or nonprofits are kind of my game. And with startups, what happens is, and I'm joking here a little bit, but, it's two guys in a garage, and then they decide they need to hire a third and fourth person, and they've never had a PTO policy or any sort of policy, let alone thought about health insurance, right? And so I get brought in to start those initial policies. So what state they're in, what they need, what they want. We talk about, do you want unlimited PTO? Do you want it to be more structured? So all of it is done on a case-by-case basis with each company that I work with. And then I do a little bit different for medium-sized companies. Those are the ones where, hey, we have some policies and they worked when we had 5 to 10 employees, but now we have 50 and we're kind of lost here and we need better policies. So I come in and revamp those policies and kind of build them up and restructure them for a larger team. And again, I wish I could give very, very specifics right now, but I would have to use somebody as an example. Well, I
You don't have
can.
to say their name. You don't have to say their name. You just say
So
it was Joe Block.
one more recently. I was working with a company that had a literally a one-page process and procedure for their hiring and firing. So like 2 paragraphs for how we hire people, 2 paragraphs for how we fire people. And they got a new COO, and the COO was like, we need to do this. We need to do something. So they hired me, and it took me probably 3 weeks of just talking to people to figure out what their process was, because nobody knew. Every department was hiring in a different way. Some people were posting on Indeed. Some people were posting on LinkedIn. Some people were doing 3 interviews. Some people were doing 1. And it's like, no, it doesn't work like that. We have to have some structure to it. And so, yeah, it was about 3 weeks of conversations, and we had a solid hiring process and a solid how to let someone go process. And it worked. And for those, it's not about, if you're going to hire me, I want people to know, whoever's listening, it's done by project. So we'll talk about how, like, what the project costs, and then however long that takes me to get all the information is how that is. So it's not like just because it took me 3 weeks for one and 1 week for another, that the 3-week person cost more.
So tell us about that. Give us a little insight, just a blueprint of what you would try to implement.
What do you try to implement with what? With the process and procedures?
Well, no. Like your hiring process.
Sure.
Do you have to do a video? What is there some sort of criteria they have to meet?
Well, it depends on each company. So, if you are doing like, let's say you're a construction company, so half your people are office people running the company, the other half are out in the field, right? They're building stuff, they're doing stuff. The people out in the field possibly are union, and the people in the office possibly aren't. And so the hiring practices would be different. And so we would have to talk about what that looks like, who's responsible for what, and also like the office people, even their PTO would be the same, but maybe the reimbursement concept is different, because the people out in the field may get gas reimbursed for going to the work site, whereas the people in the office won't get it because just they're going to the office, right? That's their normal site, where the people out in the field have different sites all the time. So how you implement it is really based on the structure of the company itself and what their needs are. So
yeah, absolutely. And sounds like a nightmare.
But think about how big of a nightmare it is if you don't have someone like me, right? If you don't have those policies and procedures in place, and now you have somebody who asks about a bereavement leave, right? Like, there's so many companies don't have bereavement leave. And then, 3-5 years down the road, they have somebody that's like, oh, my so-and-so passed away, I need a couple of weeks off. And they're like, we don't even have a policy for this. And it's like, and so those are the things that I help people preset, so that when those questions come up, it's not a problem. So,
yeah, I understand. So then someone else can take the reins, and it's an easy transition. Yeah, that's a much easier transition. I've seen that so many times, and especially large companies, that easy transition.
The easy transition.
It's like a big boulder.
Yes. And the bigger the company, the bigger the problems in most regards. They may have more processes and procedures written down, but the bigger the company, the bigger the problem. The smaller the company, when somebody's like, hey, I need a week off, somebody passed, they figure it out. They cover for each other. It's all, it's more of a close-knit environment. The bigger the company, the less empathy there is in most regards. So,
absolutely. And
mhm.
yeah, yeah, exactly right. And like you said, there's so many different variations that can. You mentioned unions as well
Mhm.
before. Uh,
Yeah.
so in Australia, it's yeah, the unions usually cover everyone um, in a business.
Oh, sure.
It's in a big business sort of thing. So, but there are different unions for different industries.
Oh, got
So
it. Okay.
there is a union for like accountants. There is a union for administration.
Okay.
There is there are unions for uh, like hospitality. There's a union for like you said, construction. So,
Yeah, here it
um,
doesn't work exactly
but
like
I
that.
mean,
Yeah.
from an employer's point of view, you have to negotiate with those unions to well, especially if you want to implement something, especially when it
Yes.
affects everyone, especially
Right.
if it affects everyone. Um, and also, with the hiring and firing process, you only you hear about the union when you get hired, and you hear about the union when you get fired.
Or when you get in trouble. Sometimes if you're getting in
Or
trouble
get
in the
trouble.
middle.
Yeah, well, that's usually at the end anyway when you get fired.
That's true.
But there was, what was I going to say? Otherwise, you rarely ever hear about them. So um, it might be because we just don't have the population too. We only have like 30 million people. So in the States, you have close to 300 million. So
Yeah.
so I understand it would be it'd be a nightmare from a manager's point of view. And like you said, then you've got subordinate managers as well, and they
Right.
have to try and manage their teams and their project teams and whoever else they've got underneath them. And then there's that crossover as well, and then you've got to try and manage. Yeah, so you've got to try and implement all that information into those. Yeah, it would be a
Yes.
nightmare. And like you
Into
said,
verbiage that people understand and can follow. So you
and
can't
yeah,
use like crazy terms and all that. You have to put it in terms that everyone in the organization can understand. That's some of the biggest craziness that I've had to deal with. So
I'm sure you'd have. I'm sure you have. So yeah, I get it. I understand that. So at the end of the day, you're saving them a lot of money. That's what you're doing.
yes.
You're
Yes.
streamlining things for them, and you're saving them a lot of money, especially large companies. And I
Well,
mean,
and a lot of headache on the back end, right? Like
as well. Yep.
it's saving you money up front, you know what I mean, to hire me and to get these things done and have them implemented. But just I've seen so many things where people don't have the policies in place and then the legal ramifications come up, right? Whether you're dealing with the unions on the ramifications or actual legal in the courts ramifications. And like there was one time that somebody fired somebody on maternity leave. And I'm just like, you can't do that. I don't care. Like, I don't care what country you're in. Maybe there's a few countries that don't care, but
No, maternity leave,
most countries cannot do it. And it's like the ramifications of that I'm not even going to get into, but it's bad. And it's lawsuit worthy and validly. So yeah.
unless you're going into liquidation, unless your company's going to
Oh,
liquidation.
there are some reasons, but you can't do
Yeah.
targeted
Nah, that's right.
firings when
Exactly
someone's
right.
on maternity leave, right? Oh yeah,
Don't
there's
forget-
reasons. Yeah, if there's multiple people being let go, that's a whole different scenario.
Yeah,
So-
that's what I mean. Yeah, if the company's going to liquidation, well,
Right. We
she's
can't
not going to.
Julia.
She's not going to be the only one. She's not going to be the only one, unfortunately.
Right.
She's not she's not in the boat on her own yet. That's right.
Right.
So,
That'd be funny. She comes back from maternity leave and the office is empty. Right? Like, where is everybody? Anyway, sorry. Well, we couldn't find you.
with a child in a pram.
We probably shouldn't make
why isn't that cake in the fridge? Why isn't that cake in the fridge to use this cake?
Exactly.
So yeah, I understand. I get it. I get
Yeah.
So so what do you hope to succeed? What do you hope to achieve? I think is a better word. Once you get your
Sure.
PhD, is there something else you want to go into?
Yeah, actually. So, one of the reasons that I want to get my doctorate is because I do want to teach at the university level. And most
Oh yeah.
universities here in the US, you have to have that doctorate to be able to teach at the university level. So I have my business, my consulting, and I have a couple other things in the works, but that's kind of my next level is to become an instructor at a college. So that's an exciting thing that's on my bucket list.
Very cool.
So yeah.
So yeah, okay. And you're going to continue with your business as well? You're going to continue with
Oh,
it?
100%. 100%. I like what I do too much to stop doing it. So it really is, you know how like one of the things you said, what gets you out of bed, but I truly enjoy what I do. I get up in the morning. I love what I do. I love the people that I work with, the people I collaborate with. And I can't imagine not getting up and doing this. So the instructing would be, you know, nights and weekends. I'm joking, but it would be something I want to do. That would be my become rich and famous thing. So yeah.
Why not? Why not? So
I don't know any professors that are rich and famous. I mean, there's a few that did things outside of being a professor that got them rich and famous, but not just straight professors are rich and famous. So
but yeah, well, usually they're professors in some sort of drug company or something like that.
sure.
And they created their own new drug. That's usually how it rolls. So
Yeah.
yeah, I appreciate it. So tell us a little bit more about how would you help a smaller company, a small business like most of us are, because
Yeah.
it's a huge percentage in Australia. It's a huge percentage. Small businesses a huge percentage of the business that happens in Australia. So
Oh, okay.
I suspect it would be the same in the States, yeah?
Yeah, there are a lot of small businesses, a lot of entrepreneurs and startups and things that happen here too. And the first thing that I would help with a single person that's starting a business, like, so you're like me, you're starting your company, this is where I would recommend the one-on-one leadership coaching, right? And that is, how do you lead yourself? And I know you're like, wait, people should know how to, but trust me, some people don't know how to lead themselves. And if you're listening to me and laughing, that's probably you. All right, so a lot of people, they
Yes.
know how to run things, they know how to build what they want, but when it comes to holding themselves and Brittany's going to laugh, holding themselves accountable for what they're doing, then they don't really know how to do that, right? They just want to do all the fun stuff. And so being the leader of yourself is knowing when to say no, when to say yes, and when to move forward. And that's something that one-on-one leadership coaching can happen. But also you want to bring somebody like me in when you're ready to hire that first person. I don't care if they're a virtual assistant and they're a contract person or something like that. Before you hire your first person, you should touch base with an HR rep and make sure that you're meeting all the necessary requirements that you need to meet. So as much as I want you to reach out to me, Sarah Davis, Off the Beaten Path Consulting, look at that, my little commercial. I want you to reach out to any HR person before you hire that first person. That's my recommendation for any small business.
Yeah, so that and that is because like you said, the back end
Yeah.
is if you can
Yeah.
fix the problem at the start, the stitching time saves 9. So
Exactly.
because of that reason, because you don't want, So I mean, even the hiring process, I've been through I've hired a few
Sure.
people. Even that can be a nightmare in itself. Trying
Yeah.
to get people all together on the same page, trying to get people to follow the instructions of the employment process,
Right.
or onboarding process.
Mm-hmm.
It can be a nightmare. Can be an
It can be.
absolute nightmare.
It can be, because it's more than just filling out an application, right? I've never actually hired somebody as a direct hire from Australia, so I don't know, but I'm assuming there's the government paperwork just like there is here, right? To hire
Oh, yeah.
somebody to because the government has to get their taxes, right? So, all of that paperwork is part of HR too. And so if you're hiring somebody as an employee to get all that done, if you're doing it for the first time, especially touch base with somebody that's in HR and make sure that you're dotting all those I's and crossing the T's, because again, it's that aftermath that you don't want to deal with.
Serious.
Mhm.
Oh no, series. Sorry, that was a little joke.
I know.
I wrote the wrong word down. I put serious instead of series. And Sarah's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And then you're exactly right. If you don't cross your T's and dot your I's, you're exactly right. It'll catch up with you later. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, we'll go on to you've got a coloring in book website, yeah?
I do. I have 5 coloring books. And I
Oh,
love that. I love that you call them coloring in books. I think that's a Australian thing. But yes, I have 5 coloring books all about leadership. My link is there, but I'll just tell you about one just to kind of give you an idea. The first one is Dinosaurs Make Bad Leaders. And it's all about getting rid of those archaic thoughts that we have about being a leader. It's less, it's kind of getting you out of that micromanagement, that telling people what to do instead of asking them, barking orders instead of talking through a process. And it's all done with a little bit of fun and coloring of dinosaurs. And coming up after the new year, I'm hopefully going to, probably by February, I'm going to have some workshops around some of these coloring books to better utilize the concepts in them. So, yeah.
So so there are leadership coloring books.
Mm-hmm. Every page has a prompt that you're supposed to read the prompt and color the page. And as you color it, you're supposed to reflect on that prompt. And at the back of each coloring page is a reflection page. So you want to write down your thoughts. And you can do that. There's 24 in each book. And so the idea is that you do it as many times as you can, as many times as you need it, to kind of reflect on your personal leadership goals and your personal leadership path, and focusing on how to be a better leader for your team.
Wow. Okay. I didn't realize. I learned something this morning. So thank you. That's a gold nugget. I wish, because 40. Well, you would know, 40% of the population learn kinesthetically. They have to do it to learn it. 40% are visual, and 20% are auditory. And the schooling system is set up for the last two. Sorry, for the visual and the auditory, but they don't set it up for the kinesthetic. So this is a wonderful, So why don't go and do an e-commerce degree when you just use your coloring in books? Coloring in. So that's what we say in Australia.
I know. I think it's fun. So
you go to a child and say a coloring book, they'll go, "What? Coloring book?
Yeah, coloring book. Yeah.
Coloring in. Let's get.
Well, and it makes sense because you're coloring in the pictures. We say like you're coloring in the pictures. That makes sense. But here, for some reason, we take off the "in" when we're just talking about the book. I don't know why. I do know why, because America takes everybody else's good ideas and we kind of just mess them up. So that's what we do. Anyways, but yeah.
I thought Australians were lazy.
No.
We're not the only ones. No. Huh?
Every country has their lazy people, but yeah.
Even in education.
Even in education, yes. But I agree with you that even as adults, we're forced to sit in, trainings and things that are all death by PowerPoint, right? Yeah. And a lot of people don't learn like that. And so not only are these books meant for people like that, but also they're meant for big companies to buy many of them if they want, but small companies can just buy one, because each page can be torn out and used for like a workshop. So you could buy 1 or 2 books and you could have a workshop for 24 to 48 people, and it can be a really great option to have those reflective pages and have everybody have a little bit of fun. So
exactly right. I wouldn't have got through uni and my master's degree without YouTube. If it wasn't for
Oh,
YouTube,
sure.
I would have, because I can't do that. I can't just read a book and or sit in a classroom and try and absorb information. I have to watch a video and learn and do it myself because I'm kinesthetic.
Right.
I learn kinesthetically. So once I learned how to learn, then you can adjust, and that's great. That's great that you've done that because most people do learn that way anyway.
Well, and I love what you just said really quick, though. You said I had to learn how to learn. And that's something that all school systems worldwide have a disconnect, right? We need to find out how each kid, and maybe not in kindergarten, it might take a couple years to truly figure out the best way to teach each kid as an individual, but we need to start teaching kids at where they are and how they best learn. And it would be interesting to see how amazing kids would flourish if we did that. We shouldn't have to wait till we're an adult to learn how to learn. So, yeah.
Well, I can understand why a lot of people are going towards homeschooling because of that reason. Because they're realizing that the system hasn't changed that much. It's still the same.
It really hasn't.
Even Einstein said that. He said, why should you? If you're sitting in a school, I can't remember the exact words, but he basically said, sitting in a schoolroom all day, learning repetitious things, you're not going to learn anything. You're basically.
And what is that?
He talked about. There's a quote that he said, "If you want your children to be intelligent, if you want your children to be intelligent, read them fairy tales. If you want them to be really intelligent, read them more fairy tales."
Oh, that's so basically fun. It boosts imagination. Yeah.
Yeah, or creativity. So that's what he's saying is where ideas come from creativity. So, and then then that leads to a better world. That's what he's basically saying. Not repetition and learning.
Sure.
That comes back to another guy.
Right.
We know who he is. He said his quotation was, "I don't want thinkers. I want workers. I don't want thinkers. I want workers." And he got it.
Yeah.
All right. So obviously you've given this to companies as well, and you've helped companies with the coloring in books.
Not as many as I would like. I only my coloring books, the first one was in July, and then I had a total of 5, and the 5th one just came out about a month ago. So a few companies have bought them and loved them, and a few individuals have bought them and loved them. But I obviously would love to sell more. But I haven't really marketed them as much as I should have. And so I'm working on that marketing scheme right now. And I'm going to be doing a big push for what in the US is called Black Friday. So it's the day after Thanksgiving here, is a really big shopping day. And then we have Cyber Monday, which is right after that. So I'm going to be doing a big push for a deal to get all 5 books and to push out to some companies. So, yeah.
Yeah, right. So tell us, well, I've never heard of that. So what is it? Black Friday and Cyber Monday?
So Thanksgiving here is, Day of Thanks, like that's normal. And like I think every country has some version of Thanksgiving, but the day after Thanksgiving is our biggest, well, it used to be, now it's a little bit less, but it's our biggest shopping day of the year. So right after Thanksgiving is when all of the Christmas sales go into play.
Okay.
And then on Cyber Monday is the online sales, which is where most of my book, because I sell mainly on Amazon. So Cyber Monday will probably be my biggest push because it's about all the online sales. Black Friday is all the in-person sales. So you've probably maybe seen it in movies where people are like standing outside and like rushing into a store when the door opens. That literally happens. People stand outside all night for deals on TVs and things. So
yeah, so for us that's on Boxing Day. So the day
after
Christmas. They call it the Boxing Day sale.
So the same concept. So yeah.
Okay, I never knew that. So that is that the Halloween week or is it later?
No, it's the last Friday in November. So the last Thursday in November is Thanksgiving, and then the Friday would be Black Friday.
Okay, there you go. I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. There you go. I just learned something again. Good work, Sarah. Yeah. Learning stuff today. So is there anything else you wanted to bring up about your business that you wanted to talk about?
I mean, I think we covered all the basics. I will say that just a little bit of sales pitch. If you haven't went to Substack, I ask you to explore it just in general. But either way, follow my Substack because I'm amazing. And you should read everything I write. No, but it's my blog. It talks about leadership and HR and a lot of my personal journey. So even if you're not interested in HR and leadership, there's a lot of personal journey stories. I have a whole series of how my grandfather spoiled me and the lessons I learned from that. And it's pretty funny. So, go check it out. It's just an interesting blog and I want you to follow it. So,
well, don't leave us in suspense. What's going on with Granddad?
Oh, I mean, you have to go read the blogs. I'm not giving it to you. I need the SEO. Go read those blogs, Scott. But it's more along the lines. Sure. So I'll give a quick story. My grandfather was a huge part of my life. He was already retired by the time I was born. And so he watched me, after school. He watched me when my mom had to work before I even went to school and all those things. And I was woke up every morning at 6:30 in the morning because our news here, the Today Show, started at 7 a.m. And so he'd bundle me in a blanket and I had to watch the news with him every morning. And you would think that would be torture. But every day on the Today Show, there was this guy who would wish somebody a happy birthday for turning 100 years old. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Okay. So when I went to kindergarten and they asked me like, oh, so what do you want to be when you grow up? I'm like, I want to be on the Willard Scott Show because I'm going to be 100. That's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be on TV. And so for years, that was like my goal. I mean, it still is. I want to be 100, right? But yeah, it was a cute thing, but I learned that news was important. Finding out what was happening in the world was important, and celebrating big milestones was important. And I learned that from simply waking up at 6:30 in the morning from my grandfather. So, yeah.
So I'll give you. So in Australia. So anyone in the Commonwealth, so Canada is the same as well. We actually get a letter if you make it to 100. You actually get a letter from the King. Used to be.
Oh, that is so fun.
Yeah, you made it to 100. Yeah, here's a letter from me.
Okay, and an actual signature.
Well,
maybe
it's a signature, but whether he wrote it or not is another question.
But still, it's very cool. That is a very fun thing, though. So,
yeah. So anyone in any Commonwealth country, yeah. So you guys, you stood with the Indigenous and the American Africans and stood up against the King. So, well done. We should have done the same.
I was going to say that was a long time ago. I wasn't standing up to anybody back then, but yes, the revolution, we won, kind of. So, do you win in a war? I don't know for sure.
No,
but,
I don't think so. Depends on who paid who more money.
Okay. See, there you go. You go.
Sounds like the Americans did. You got paid more. So, I commend that you guys did that. That was amazing. Not many countries did that against the British Empire.
No.
So
no,
I don't think there was any other country that did that actually.
Not the way we did. A few tried to fight back, but not the way we did. So
that's exactly right. Yeah. So I commend you guys for doing that. So all right, you've done well. I know we're off to a late start. That's because that was my fault. I apologize, Sarah.
No, it's all good.
And I appreciate your time. And I'll go on to the third question. So, okay. Who's your ideal client? Who do you sort of already answered this question, but who are you looking for? Who do you want to help the most?
Sure. So I would say my ideal client are small and medium-sized companies who need HR help. But if you had to pick, I would rather do small, like people that are just hiring for the first time that want to build their processes and want to start their company off right. That's who I would love to help the most. But I also love coming in and restructuring HR for a medium-sized company to continue their growth. So yeah, if you hear of anybody just having those struggles with how do I hire somebody for the first time, what processes do I need, send them over to Sarah.
Very, very cool. And the last question, what ideas or information would you give to provide lifelong longevity?
Ooh. So probably nothing really to do with HR or leadership, I guess. I don't know. I think my
Is that because it's too
so
stressful?
maybe. But I actually you gave me this question before I came on the podcast, which I love that you gave me kind of a minute to think about it. And I was determined like to figure out, do I want to bring it to HR? Do I want to bring it personal? So I'm going to bring it slightly personal. And then someday, if you want, we can go into details on another call. But my body has tried to kill me 3 times. Okay. Like I almost died 3 times. And I don't want that to happen again until it's the 4th and final time. Like I'm done with the body trying to. So the way I fixed this though is to make sure that I'm checking everything that I need to check on a regular basis. So if you're avoiding that blood work, if you're avoiding that CAT scan, if you're avoiding finding out something bad, just go and do it. That's my advice. Go and do it. And the quicker you find out, the quicker you get something fixed. And if you're worried about it, 9 times out of 10, it's something so easy to fix. And the other 10, it's better to know than not know. So that's my advice for life longevity.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Sarah. So what's the OTBP stand for again?
Off the beaten path consulting. So my tagline is do better, be better, go off the beaten path. And if you focus every day on doing something a little bit better, being a little bit better to the world and to yourself, and choosing to go on your own path instead of following others, the world and you will be a much better place.
Very awesome. All right, Sarah, thank you very much for your time. Much appreciated. And because you didn't bag me too much, just I'm going to give you access to my health club. So it's going to cost you $1 Australian for the first month. $1 Australian.
All right.
It's about 50 cents in the US, I think. Something like
Probably. That. I don't know. Actually, I don't know what that conversion is.
I think you're about 65 cents. I think you're 65 cents to our dollar.
All right.
So it's going to cost you a whole 65 cents to get on my health club. So there's 9 modules. I teach you about EFT, emotional freedom technique, meditation, nutrition, how to lose weight. I teach you about exercise, how to plan it, roadblocks in your mind, and also about Chinese medicine, acupuncture, and the 8 chronic diseases and how to prevent them.
Wow.
So there's over 60 lessons. There's a lot to learn. So it's 20 years of information that I've banged into 9 modules. So yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't have 20 years for this, Scott. I don't have 20 years. But I have time for 9 modules.
Condensed. Yeah. So yeah, you get access to that. So appreciate it. Thanks very much, Sarah. And thanks for everyone commenting as well.
Yes, thank you for watching. Jackie and Brittany and Yvette and Women of Philadelphia. I don't know who you are, but I might go find you. Women of Philadelphia.
Yeah, she said visit your site. So there you go.
I wonder if it's something different or if it's actually women from Philadelphia or if this is a biblical thing. I wonder. I'm curious now. Women of Philadelphia, if you're still following, find me because now I'm curious. All right,
guys. So thank you very much, Sarah. Thanks so much for giving this gold nuggets. I learned a lot today, actually, so appreciate your time. And
it was fun. It was fun.
Thanks very much, everyone. You'll be watching the Get Busy Living podcast, and I'm Dr. Scott Fox. And